Have access to dining rooms at most Taco Bell restaurants in Oakland. We spotted signs saying dining room closed at the restaurant at 35th Avenue and MacArthur Boulevard today. According to reports, 4 of the 5 Taco Bells in Oakland are now drive-through only because of rising crime. The restaurants aren't accepting cash either. We've reached out to Taco Bell corporate headquarters for confirmation, but have yet to hear back.
Once again, we got to say the same thing. You did this to yourselves. It's been a while since we've talked about California, especially Northern California. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't know which one brings worse news, Northern California or Southern California. Now, we already know about the homeless crisis. We already know about crime. We already know about all the chaos that, of course, comes from the state of California. Of course, many people look at Gavin Newsom as the main reason why that's the case, but I would argue that it was probably the 2 previous governors before him. Yes, that also includes Schwarzenegger, because it was starting to really get noticeable when he was governor, and of course the governor before him, he wasn't too much better. But still, though, at the same time, we're over here and we're talking about the city of Oakland, and we're talking about yet another business that has decided to pack up and leave. Now, Oakland, California has been experiencing a bit of a crime wave. They've had some recent businesses leave. I don't think I need to go through all that one, but still at the same time, Taco Bell now, they are the newest one to basically say, hey, look, you know what? We're going to be closing the indoors. We're basically going to be closing the dining room area. Now, granted, Taco Bell has not left, but this one is definitely a prelude to this fast food chain leaving. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Walgreens, they decided to pack up and leave. I want to say that they left Boston not too long ago, or they left the Boston area neighborhood not too long ago. And then, of course, you've also got the situation in Chicago that happened a few weeks ago where KFC basically said, you know what, we're just going to pack up and leave. By the way, they left South Chicago, they left the actual hood. We'll be talking about that over the course of this video here, but we got to ask ourselves a question. Why in the world is Taco Bell saying, you know what, man, we're going to close our entire dining room area? And of course, like I said before, it's a prelude to the actual business itself eventually leaving. It's not just Taco Bell, like I said before. It's a lot of other small businesses. This where it also includes a cinema that's leaving in Chicago. These crime-ridden areas, and yes, I know I'm talking about Oakland, Chicago, and I mentioned Boston earlier, but these cities are all notorious for something: crime. And this right here is the main reason why it is that companies are downsizing, shutting down their dining rooms, and of course also leaving. They're getting tired of the insurance costs, and they're getting tired of not only the insurance costs, but they're getting tired of putting potential customers in harm's way, as you guys will see.
At 10, frustrated customers looking to dine in for dinner are being turned away as another food chain closes its dining room in Oakland. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for KRON 4 News at 10. I'm Dan Thorne. Taco Bell has closed its indoor dining rooms at multiple locations in Oakland, and we're told that people can only order their food from the drive-thru, which has some customers feeling a little frustrated. KRON 4's Sarah Stinson joins us live in studio now with more on what may have sparked this change. Sarah.
We stopped by 2 Taco Bell locations in Oakland today, both with signs on the front saying their dining rooms are closed. We haven't been given an exact reason why this has happened, but other fast food chains have taken similar measures because of crime. Taco Bell employees tell us it might be because trouble has been caused inside.
Now, this right here once again is a case where I cannot show you the videos that get posted to Twitter, X, YouTube. Well, YouTube, it's not really the best place in the world to post these videos because oftentimes they go up through the algorithm as a form of a short, but I think YouTube banned these types of videos. I'm talking about these videos where you see people, especially young people, people of a certain, they go inside these restaurants and, of course, they cause all kinds of problems. I mean, we had a situation, what was it, back in Philadelphia where you had, I think it was that influencer, what was her name, Meatball, where the actual cell phone stores were being looted, but they also looted a Popeyes too. Now, I would show you guys a lot of these videos, but the problem is this here. Unless it came from an actual news outlet itself, it's probably going to get removed from YouTube if I post it, or it's probably going to get the video demonetized, or possibly even removed altogether. It could, of course, result in a strike. Now, the thing is this right here. These videos, of course, get shared all over YouTube. And, of course, when she said trouble may be brewing inside, a lot of this right here could pertain to the fact that, like I said before, you see people go inside these places and act literally a fool. They act like, dude, There was a video that was posted not too long ago in Georgia where a fast food worker was shot, and the incident occurred inside the store. Well, actually, let me roll it back real quick. Her getting shot actually happened outside, but what happened was that some customers came in and a fist fight broke out between the employees and the actual patrons themselves. The girl went outside because she was called out after the fight, and of course, the people, once they got in their vehicle, they pulled out a pistol and they shot the girl. We've got no word on whether that girl was okay or not. I'm just saying that these types of incidents do in fact occur. It's sad, it should not happen, but then again, like I said before, once again, we are here and we are dealing with the monotonous of crime in these areas. And of course, a lot of people are beginning to get scared. Now, the dining room getting shut down, somebody's probably going to say, well, dude, I don't eat in the dining room anyways. And that right there, for the most part, would be true. But there are people who do like to go inside the dining room area and just kind of chill out for a little bit. Not just chill out, but eat their food in there and also kill time. Especially if you live in a city or an area like, say, Oakland, where you're probably going to have like an hour-long lunch break, and maybe Taco Bell is right beside the place that you work at, or maybe it's right down the road. You want to go in there, get on your cell phone, just be left alone for a few minutes, because even though you're inside of a restaurant, a fast food restaurant, sometimes you can catch it on quiet days. But still, at the same time, though, like I said before, this right here, once again, is a prelude to eventually shutting down the business altogether. However, before the business gets shut down, what kind of effects are you possibly looking at as a result of these people closing down the
of Taco Bell on 35th Avenue in Oakland, large signs telling customers that the dining room is now closed. The same could be seen at this location on Hagenberger Road. Customers are being forced to order food through the drive-thru. Even this person who didn't have a car tried to order from the window because they weren't allowed inside. People who go to Taco Bell all the time say they're frustrated by this change.
People who are on the bus and stuff, they don't allow walk-ups. Yeah, it's not cool for people to not be able to go through the drive-thru or go into the dining room and only have to go through the drive-thru.
A Taco Bell employee telling Cron 4 the restaurant has had to do this because people...
Now, you guys just heard that. You guys just heard the lady complaining about this. By the way, she's going to be featured in the very next clip too, because they do ask her about the crime situation. And the thing you got to understand is this right here. A lot of people are not surprised that Taco Bell is taking these measures. I think that people in Oakland are starting to see that, yeah, the policies that we voted for, they're kind of causing this. But we'll talk more about that towards the end of the video, especially when we get to this section on Chicago. Because when KFC decided to pull out of Chicago, and by the way, the initial word was it was just South Chicago. However, you've got people posting on the internet and posting videos that all the locations in Chicago are gone, or the Chicago area. Yeah, it's not a good look. The thing is this right here. You've also got this situation where a lot of people are complaining because they can't just walk up to the drive-thru window and get their food. Okay, of course, you got to go through the drive-thru. You got to be in a vehicle. 99.9% of places are going to say you got to actually be inside your vehicle and you got to actually order from your vehicle to get your food. Now, I, at one point in time, used to not understand that policy. I kind of understand why they do that now. But then again, there's also some pretty harrowing incidents. And of course, if you open up an X or a Twitter profile, you will see this. I'm not trying to sell you on that platform. I'm just simply saying that a lot of these crazy videos get uploaded to that site. They go viral. And of course, this type of information does eventually get to the social media departments of some of these companies. One of these companies, of course, would in fact be Taco Bell. Wendy's, for example, they have a social media operation. McDonald's has a social media operation. It's part of the way these people kind of get their reach, okay? They got to kind of promote the next big thing. So when these types of videos get posted to Twitter and they get shared and eventually get shared and these people get tagged, after a while, people are probably going to begin to take certain measures. Now, I have not mentioned what exactly is going on in Oakland itself. The reason why I've not gotten to that is because, once again, the correlation to this right here to say what's going on in Chicago or what's going on to say the Walgreens situation in, say, Boston or South Boston is almost the exact same thing. It's pretty well received that crime is the biggest motivating factor in these restaurants, either a closing or closing their dining rooms and eventually getting the hell out of Dodge. But let's watch just a little bit.
To do this because people have been causing trouble inside. Taco Bell is not the first Oakland restaurant to close off indoor dining. Raising Cane's on Edgewater Drive also shut down its dining room last year. The fried chicken chain said it was because of crime. And In-N-Out announced it's closing its Oakland location after 18 years of business, citing issues of ongoing crime.
Man, we got a whole bunch of businesses just bouncing just because they're not safe no more. I don't know what it is, but situations got to change, period.
But not all Taco Bell customers understand this change. One customer telling us they've always felt safe going to the restaurant.
Yeah, I feel fine. We stay out of the wrong places, though, at the wrong time of the day. But other than that,
we reached out to Taco Bell corporate to ask how many locations have closed dining rooms in Oakland and the exact reason for the closure, but we did not hear back in time for this report. I'm Sarah Stinson reporting.
I got to say this really quick, and we're definitely going to be talking about this when we get to South Chicago. Look, I understand that fast food is fast food, and anytime somebody tries to tell you that there's such thing called healthy fast food or healthier fast food, that doesn't exist. Okay, it's typically greasy, it's typically processed food. It's pretty daggone bad for you. However, you can still feed your kids it, and of course the kids won't be affected that much, at least in the short term. You've also got the situation where, like I said before, it's actually cheaper. You've also got a situation right now where you've got rampant inflation. California itself is pretty bad when it comes to inflation, especially the living cost, a lot like New York. Not only do you have that there, but you've also got the situation where a lot of people who don't have much money have kind of got to rely on fast food to get through the day with. They can't exactly afford the other food to cook and carry to work within the following day. It's like, if you cook like maybe like a dirty rice plate, like I'll do from time to time, like a jambalaya where you've got like shrimp or sausage or whatnot inside the rice with peppers or whatever, and you carry it to work the next day, whatever's left over. Not everybody can do that. Some people have got to actually physically get fast food to help get through the day. I don't like fast food. Well, let me take that back. I do like fast food. I don't like the effects that it has on the body, but still at the same time, though, fast food restaurants, fast food chains leaving this place is only going to leave those businesses that are much, much more high-end available. The places that people, quite frankly, can't afford. I think I did a video a while back on McDonald's and their increase on the price of a Big Mac, and also to go on top of that, the increase when it comes to the price of not the price, but minimum wage itself. You would be better off just going to Five Guys and paying $20-some odd for a burger and fries when you're already paying $20-some odd at McDonald's. After a while, that right there could, of course, hurt McDonald's, because people are going to realize that a McDonald's hamburger, while it does provide temporary nourishment, it does provide a temporary smile on your face. At the end of the day, it's not as good of a burger as, say, a more gourmet burger. But still, though, back to the whole question of shutting down these dining rooms, basically what's happened is that these people are starting to see the writing on the wall. The society is changing. People are acting a fool. And not only are people acting a fool, but people are also realizing that there's no actual point in having a dining room to go along with the drive-thru. And, of course, the drive-thru is eventually going to get shut down because people are acting a fool when they go through the drive-thru. But what about employees? What about workers? Well, this right here is where we get to South Chicago. Now, as most of you guys know, Chicago is going through a migrant crisis. Chicago is not only going through a migrant crisis, but they're going through a constant crime wave. And you got a lot of people in that city that, quite frankly, are trying to get by, especially given everything that we're seeing today with the rampant inflation, all that type of stuff there. But what happens when you actually pull fast food restaurants out of said small neighborhoods? Now, look, I mentioned earlier how it was that fast food was cheap and how it was I didn't like the effects it had on the body, but why it is that we still need fast food to help get through the day, at least in certain situations. But what happens to those who are just looking for a good old-fashioned job? Let's roll this.
Is not only a sore eye, it's a gateway for violence, because when you see abandonment, it looks as if there's no love, no hope in the community.
The lights are shutting off abruptly at 3 Southside fast food locations, leaving community members concerned about lost jobs and the future of those sites.
Casey Cronus live tonight with a hard-hit community suffering yet another loss. Casey.
Don and Scott, all 3 KFC restaurants that are closing their doors are owned by the same franchisee. Now, this comes in Chatham, as it's not the first business to close down in the last several weeks, posing new challenges for the community.
It's something we're seeing across the city, but nevertheless, neighborhoods, it hits differently.
In Chatham, Greater Grand Crossing, and Bronzeville, Colonel Sanders is saying goodbye to 3 restaurants, once busy with customers, but now suddenly boarded up.
There was no communication. I saw what the residents saw, and disappointed just the same way they are.
6th Ward Alderman.
I don't think people are going to be taking the jobs because then again, at the same time, it doesn't seem to me like people are actually interested in going to the job fair. But then again, though, given the rampant inflation and given the fact that people are being forced to work 2 or 3 part-time jobs, who knows? People just may actually show up to the job fair and actually get a job regardless what said job is, because times, quite frankly, are getting pretty damn desperate. It's what I would like to call hard times.
Says the news came as a surprise, especially at 83rd and King Drive, where renovations have been underway for months.
I'll say about 6-7 months. Stop and go. More time stopping than going.
Also stopping sales, the KFC at 75th and Lafayette in Greater Grand Crossing and 35th and Calumet in Bronzeville, leaving employees out of work.
Any job loss is a life loss, in my opinion, because everyone deserves the opportunity to make an honest and clean living.
A spokesperson with KFC tells us the closures came, quote, as a normal course of business, adding, while this is always a difficult decision, we appreciate the patronage of our loyal guests. But in Chatham, it comes less than 1 month after local movie theater Cinema Chatham shut down. Vacancies that Hall says he is focused on replacing and revitalizing.
We're going to, again, look to the future. Hopefully we find or reimagine our corner, even if it means tearing down that KFC and building a new business. But we're not going to stop until that vacancy is filled.
And this Thursday, Alderman Hall is hosting a job fair at Hamilton Park starting at 9 a.m. with other nearby businesses. All are welcome to attend, and he tells us some positions will be filled on the spot. Reporting live downtown, Casey Cronus.
The thing that I want to focus on here is that alderman, the guy who's talking about the restaurant itself, talking about KFC itself. By the way, this right here is actually pretty daggone embarrassing, especially given the stereotype, which I'm not allowed to mention here on YouTube, but of course I live with the stereotype because I live in the South. The thing is this right here. If you shut down KFC when they're actually in the hood, you've got a problem. That means that the situation is completely out of control. That means that crime is, in fact, to the point to where people probably can't even walk down the street without looking over their shoulder at least every 2 or 3 seconds. But the thing about workers, well, you see, and I mentioned this right here in my second video on the Anna Kasparian situation, calling out the Democrats over their incompetence over immigration. The city of Denver right now is closing down their recreational departments, or they're actually being forced to cut hours, all that type of stuff. There, you see, people need things to do. It's almost like what Ronald Reagan said, the greatest social program you could ever have is a good old-fashioned job. Even if it's a crap job, at least it's a starter job to get you going somewhere else. If you start shutting down the jobs in these neighborhoods, and like I said before, I've already talked about crime, and I've already mentioned how bad crime is. You got to get the crime under control. But still, though, you still need the jobs themselves. People need things to do. People obviously need to make some money. If you put them in a situation where there are no jobs, you could find these people in you could find yourself in a situation where you're looking at a lot of potential angry young men who've got nothing better to do with their time, who may turn to drugs, who may turn to any other activity, and especially given the micro crisis and all the jealousy that is being created, this right here is the situation that you're looking for. Now, the thing is this right here. If you don't have jobs in a community, if you don't have things to do, if you don't have at least some form of civic pride, apathy will begin to set in. With apathy setting in, eventually anger will set in. With anger setting in, eventually jealousy will set in. With all that setting in, you're looking at a potential situation where, once again, the crime could in fact pick up, and it's already bad enough as it is. However, that right there brings me to, why do people vote this way? For the longest time, I just could not figure this out. And it's very, very easy for me to say that you voted for this, you get the policies that you vote for. The problem that you get is after a while, people eventually leave these areas. And yes, it's true that some of these people who leave these areas will go to red areas and try to blow it up. This is obviously a problem that I cannot seem to understand and quite frankly have not figured out. However, if you look at the U.S. Census, it's not as big of a problem as you think. Most of the people who are leaving these areas, you can kind of get a good idea exactly how they're going to go or what kind of what they're going to be bringing with them just based upon the area of the nation they live in or the area of the city or the area of the state that they're moving from. The point is this right here. My thinking is right now at this moment in time, this is the only explanation I can come up with, is that people for the most part who live in these areas, they don't want to live there, they don't want to leave their areas. Now, it's very, very easy to say that these people probably can't leave their areas because of the money, but at least I would say the desire to at least leave these areas needs to be there. Now, if they leave these areas, you're hoping, you're praying that they don't show up to your area and mess up your area. But still, at the same time, it makes me wonder if something is not going to be coming down the pipe here real soon, basically saying, look, you cannot move to my state if you come from this state here. For example, like I live in North Carolina. What if North Carolina passes a law that says, look, you cannot move to North Carolina if you come from California? I understand it's definitely across the country, but still at the same time, you can't live here because of the state that you're from. It makes me wonder if this type of stuff is not going to occur, because it is true that a lot of these people will leave and go to other areas and turn that place blue, or go out of their way to turn this place blue after completely complaining about the environments that they left. But of course, the people who are stuck there, they obviously cannot leave. They probably don't really want to leave. Even if they could leave, they probably couldn't, because it is in fact their home. It's just sad to see how it is that these great American cities are turning into literal crap holes, just like the country of Haiti. With that right there being said, guys, please tell me your thoughts. Please tell me what you think. Please leave a like on the video. YouTube's algorithm, they changed the algorithm, and it is really messing things up. Like, my views are definitely down. I'm beginning to get frustrated. I almost decided to do a rant on it today, but I chose not to do so, because obviously this video here is coming out on Thursday. But still, at the same time, though, please leave a like on the video. Please share the video. Please leave a comment. Actually, the video's coming out on Wednesday. My bad. Not only do that right there, but please also post it to Facebook, put it on your channel, put it anywhere you can. Just get it out there, because the algorithm, quite frankly, is beating the literal hell out of small content creators. With that right there being said, guys, I will have the gangs video posted up in the afternoon. I'll see you guys later.